Hi, this is Mrs. Rodriguez, your pre-algebra teacher. This video is for lesson 8-1, and it's all about functions, okay? Go ahead and share my screen with you. All right, so things start getting a little more challenging second semester in pre-algebra because we're getting into more of the prerequisites for algebra, right? So hence we're talking about functions in our first lesson. And so relations and functions. We have independent variables and we have dependent variables, okay? So one thing to be able to determine if something is a function or not, remember that is when we have each element of the domain that is paired up with exactly one element of the range. So if we listed all of our domain values, remember domain are the x values, and then all of the range values, the corresponding range values, and those are the y values. If each value only has one corresponding value like this one, then it is a function, okay? Here we have a domain where this value or this element in the domain 2 has two possible elements in the range. When the domain is 2, then the range is either 1 or 3. Okay, so this is not a function because each element is not paired up with just one value. Okay, we have one of them that's paired up with two elements. Okay. All right, so you have a couple of examples where you have to the question is this a function or not, right? Determine whether each relation is a function and then explain. So what I would do is I would list the domain. Sorry, I misspelled this. Okay. The domain values and then the range values, okay? So my domain values, remember, are the x values, so that's 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'm just going to list them in order, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then match them up with each y value. So 5 goes with 1, 6 goes with 3, 7 goes with 5, and then 8 goes with 0. So each value in my domain, I can easily see by looking at this that it matches with one value in the range. Okay, so this is a function. Okay, why? Because each value in the domain matches with one value in the range. Okay. All right, so let's look at this one here. So now we have, it's presented in a different way, just a table. So now we have our x values. So we've got 1, 6, 3, 1, 5, and 2. So I'm going to put them in order. Okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Okay. And then my range values. So when x is 1, y is 7. When x is 6, y, or the range value, is 6. When x is 3, the y value or the range is 2. And when x is 1, the y value is 8. Okay? Okay, well, here we go. We have a domain of 1, an x value of 1, and we have a y value of 7 and of 8. So this is not a function. Why? Because one of the domain values matches with two range values, okay, which makes it not a function. And then one thing, when you're given a graph, it's easy to determine if it's a function or not by doing a vertical line test. And that literally means like running your pencil across the graph and seeing if it hits your pencil twice at a certain point. So if we did that, nothing hits this one is separate. So if we put vertical lines through all of these, then it wouldn't hit. It only hits one point. So this is a function. Okay. All right. If it hit 2 points, then it would not be a function. All right, then you also need to know about what function notation is, okay? So here we have this equation y equals 2x plus 3. We have function notation. We replace the y with f of x, okay? And that's how we read it, okay? It represents the dependent variable. So in this example, when x equals 4, f of x equals 11. And why is that? Because we're saying, okay, well, when f is 4, we can plug in 4 in for x, okay? So that would be 8 plus 3, which is equal to 11. So we would say f of x equals 11, okay? All right, so let's look at a couple of these. So we've got this function, f of x equals 14 plus 3x. Find each function value. So first we're going to find f of 4, okay? So I'm going to find f of 4, and it equals 14 plus 3, but instead of x, I'm putting a 4 in for x in parentheses, okay? So then I use order of operations to solve this, okay? So I multiply before I add, so 3 times 4 is 12. So 14 plus 12 is 26. So I would say f of 4 is equal to 26, okay? And then here I have f of negative 7, okay? So f of negative 7 equals 14. I'm using the same function here, plus 3, and instead of x, I'm putting negative 7 in parentheses, okay? So I've got 14 plus 3 times negative 1, 3 times negative 7 is negative 21, right? So now I have 14 plus negative 21, so you have to remember your rules for integers here, okay? So if I'm adding and my signs are different, I'm going to subtract. So 21 minus 14 is 7, and I keep the value of the number with the larger absolute value. So that would be negative 21, so it's going to be negative 7. So f of negative 7 is equal to negative 7, okay? All right, so that's all for this lesson. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched this lesson and you still had questions, please call, text, email me, or stop by my office hours, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. All right, you have a great day.